So, a good evening to you, Brice. It is, 6 p.m. for you over in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, do you plan on moving out? Because I know some people I've met have referred to it as Prison Island. So, do you see it that way as well, or no?
It is definitely Prison Island. From when we settled here years and years back, today it's still a prison colony. So, originally, I was born in Canada, moved over here when I was little, and been here ever since. Got to travel a little bit, and I definitely reckon next 6 to 12 months, I'm leaving.
Okay. Where do you plan on going? Like any countries in particular?
I'd like to travel a little bit. I like the idea of having it flexible. I can go wherever I want, be wherever I want. I think when I settle down, Dubai is definitely near the top of my list. I like that 0% tax. I like that, the networking opportunities are amazing there. Other options, you see, I'd say Tokyo's nice, but
Mhm.
I'd have to learn Japanese and yeah, I don't know. I know Dubai's number one for me.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, Dubai is a very popular hotspot. So, completely fair. And what got you into the real world? How did that journey begin?
So as soon as I turned 18, it kind of came as a bit of a shock to me. It's, welcome to the real world. You're now adult. You have to do adult things. And the first thing for me was, damn, I've worked one part-time job when I was, 16, 17 years old. I really want to step it up. And for me, the natural progression was the real world. I found out about it originally through Andrew and Tristan Tate. I was watching their YouTube videos at the time, and I was a big fan. Obviously, they had the real world, they had the war room, and the real world was based on what I had seen, the best place for me to be.
All right, makes sense. So you joined the real world. You saw all the campuses that were in front of you. What did you choose to go into?
I chose to go into the marketing bootcamp. I looked at them, and actually, I kind of lied. My first thought was crypto, because this was during a bit of a bull run,
Hmm.
and you saw Bitcoin going to the moon, Ethereum going to the moon. But I took it myself a second and thought about it. And a big thing to me, especially for young people out there who are looking to get into crypto, 10% on 10 grand is a lot more than 10% on $100. So from there, I went to the marketing bootcamp. I focused specifically on sales, and that's where I started.
Okay, interesting. So sales. Did you have any prior sales experience before you joined, or was it completely new to you?
I would say it was completely new. I worked one job at a little retail outlet at the nearby shops, and what I found was yes, it's sales, but people are only coming there if they're already ready to buy.
Okay, and in this case, it's different. How?
In this case, it was different because in the type of selling I was doing, again, a shop, you have to get in your car, you have to drive to the shop, you have to go in, and then you pick out and you look at your stuff. People aren't really going to do that unless they have intentions to buy. Now, what I focused on specifically was chat sales. And so if you're just sitting at your house scrolling through Instagram or your phone or whatever, and now, oh, product, service, I might want to buy, it is super easy to look into that versus driving and going somewhere. So I'd say it differs in the sense that the people online who you're selling to, they're not already past that threshold of I'm ready to buy something.
Okay, so sales, interesting. You're the first person who I'm interviewing who went through sales in the marketing bootcamp. So, what has your experience been like learning it from the professor there?
So the main professor that I've learned from is Michael Ringer. Guy's a sales genius, to put it lightly. I went through all of his sales lessons. I remember the first time I did, I was in the gym, and between sets, I was reading through his lessons, through all the material he had, and it was like liquid gold to me because his philosophy on sales and marketing was completely different to everything I had believed up to that point.
Interesting. Okay. And how much experience do you have now with sales in terms of time period?
I'd say that I have been doing sales and actively in sales for about 8 months, give or take.
Interesting. And in terms of clients, what do you do? Do you work for a company? Do you freelance?
I freelance. So, in that aspect, I've also drawn a lot of lessons from Dylan Madden, the professor of the freelancing campus, on how to set myself up, how to kind of reach out to people. Because when you're part of a brand versus a freelancer, it's much different in your approach because people are buying from you rather than people are buying from your brand.
Interesting. Okay. So as a freelancer in sales, how do you find clients to sell for? Is that what you do?
Not so much. So, so I will work as a part of a team as like a independent contractor,
Mhm.
and I will be selling their product.
Right.
So, for example, about a week ago, I got in contact to a another real world member who has a diamond worth about 5 million US dollars that he's trying to sell. And so he's come to me to see if I can reach out to some of my connections. And of course, there's a commission involved in it to try and sell the diamond. So what I do as a freelance sales freelance salesman is I align myself with different groups, different companies, different brands, and I sell for them.
Very interesting. Okay. And how has that scaled for you in terms of figures?
How's it scaled? In the last month, I made give or take 7 grand.
Congratulations. Very nice. So, as a, how old are you now? Are you
Uh,
comfortable revealing?
I'm 19.
Okay, so as a 19-year-old, you have made $7,000 in the past month. Now, did you expect you'd be making something like that when you first joined the real world? And also, what did you think your life trajectory would be like before you joined the real world?
Before I joined, I kind of saw myself going down the old like 9 to 5 route in life. Because I was gonna go to uni for 4 years, get in a whole bunch of debt, come out, have a whole bunch of loans I need to pay off, get a kind of okay paying job, and kiss somebody's ass for the rest of my life. Luckily, doesn't look like that's the case for me anymore. It was less about money and more about knowledge. It was I've spent my entire life because I came from a fairly well-off family. I've spent my entire life kind of in a bubble, and when I turned 18, the bubble popped for me, and it was okay. This is the real world. I need to make money. I need to learn different skills, and that's my favorite thing about the real world. It's not like one of those online courses where it's, oh, you have to pay a couple $100 and you learn this one super niche skill that only has career opportunities in China. The real world has, what is it, 18 different wealth creation methods, each taught by a millionaire professor in that industry.
Mhm.
And it's cheap. It was, and you hear all the time, it's the price of Nando's.
So, as a salesman, why do you think they only charge $50 for all the value they're providing?
Because I think it's about more than money for them. I really do. I think it's not as much for the people behind the real world, Andrew, Tristan, everybody else. It's more about them actually giving back. I'm sure, as everybody knows, they're very well off. And I think this is them kind of saying, you know what? We're here. We're going to show you steps that you can take to maybe meet us one day. I think it's absolutely selfless in what they're doing and how much they're charging people for it.
Fair enough. Great point. And how different is the material that you've seen within the sales campus, or I mean, within the marketing bootcamp, the sales process, compared to what, let's say, sales material is out on the internet?
Out on the internet, YouTube, books, anything, it is like textbook kind of used car salesman tactics. where they're trying to like coerce and convince you to buy using, like I said, tactics. And these tactics people have seen before, heard before, and it's almost like smelling something toxic. It puts a bad snarl on your face and you want away from it as fast as possible. What I found with the real world via the marketing bootcamp and the sales lessons inside, and I don't want to reveal too much, but it's more about helping people with their needs. It's about this is where you're at, this is where you want to be at, and your product is the bridge between those two things.
So, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when first starting out learning sales?
The biggest challenge was breaking those kind of stereotypical norms and ideals about sales. Like I said, I feel like a lot of salesmen in the past and the whole ideology around sales is shady, sly, coercion. And I had those ideas myself. When I first got into it, it was like, am I going to be doing the morally right thing? Or am I going to be tricking some broke kid out of his last $100? That was not the case whatsoever. In fact, I think Michael actually says this explicitly. If they're down to their last X amount of dollars and whatever you have costs the same amount, do not sell to them. Because if you take their money, and it doesn't matter how good your product is, if something goes wrong in their life, then you have just put them indirectly, you have put them miles behind where they need to be.
Interesting perspective there, because I would have thought if it truly is a good product, let's say it will teach you how to make money through acquiring skill sets, then I think it would make sense to spend $50 if that's what you had. But again, I guess you don't know.
Oh,
Maybe there will be some kind of emergency. But I mean, is $50 enough to pay for an
well,
emergency?
like if you're selling the real world, then you know what? If you have $50, I'd absolutely say spend it. There is no doubt in my mind that the real world is a good investment, even if you're down to your last 50. On the other hand, if it's something else, let's say extended warranty on car insurance. If you're selling that and somebody's barely being able to finance their car, their mortgage on their house, they go out their car payments, and it's stacking up and up and up, a lot of the time, if your extended warranty is their last bit of free cash
Yeah.
flow, then I don't think in good conscience you can sell to them.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I guess that probably popped into your mind because of the meme about your car's extended warranty, whatever it is. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so what have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time within the real world?
The first lesson that I learned, and this one might be a little bit controversial. Words don't mean shit. Especially when you're in the actual world in your day to day. You talk to people like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. Oh, I've got a plan to start a lawn mowing business and I can't wait to do it. Oh, and the figures are I'm going to cash flow $5,000 a month. And then you talk to them later and, a month later, oh, how's the lawn mowing business going? Oh, I haven't started that yet, but still, do you think it's a good idea? It's really cool. People love to talk, and talking is so, so easy. Even in fitness, they say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do 500 push-ups today. But it doesn't matter what you say. It matters what you do. And I get saying things to people as a way to hold yourself accountable. But for me personally, if you have other people holding you accountable, it's no longer about self-discipline and self-control. It's about what others are going to think about you. And I think being disciplined and having self-control are more important. My second one is the enemy of good, or the enemy of great is good. So if you land your first copywriting client and you're making, $2,000 a month. I'm not a copywriter. I don't know how much you can charge. Let's say $2,000 a month. You start to get comfortable. You start to slow down. You're not doing as much outreach. And things are good, but they're not great. Third one is that money is like water. It is everywhere. And if you stand in the right places, you're going to get wet. I remember I was like driving somewhere and I looked out and I saw, there's a little like carnival going on. People are playing carnival games. Everyone has a car parked in the parking lot. There are buildings around. And you think, from every single thing you see, somebody is making money. And if you know where to look and how to offer a skill that can benefit people, it's impossible not to make money.
Right, makes sense. And since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the next 6 months to 1 year?
Next 6 months to 1 year, my plan is I'm transitioning into real estate currently. I won't get you bogged down with the details of that, but I've got a couple plans, couple deals in the mix for that. And I'm also launching another business in the education sphere. It's not online, it's in person, but it's relevant to education. And the model we have for it right now, me and the team, looks like it has potential.
Interesting. Okay. So, I mean, in future, if you're willing to do a follow up, then we can check up on progress with those endeavors.
Absolutely.
And now, for my final question, for people who are still unsure about joining the real world, maybe they're thinking it's a scam for the $50, what advice would you have to them?
My advice would be to look at the best case and the worst case scenario. It's $50 to join. Best case, you now have access to multimillionaires who are literally there to help you make money, to answer your questions and make you rich. That is quite literally their job. You are now around a network of talented, skilled guys who are looking to level up, just like what I think most people watching this would be in the same situation. Pardon me. I would say you now have 18 different wealth creation methods. Each one, I can guarantee you can scale up to 10K plus a month. And I'm sure you've interviewed guys from every single one who's done just that. I'd look at the worst case scenario. Oh no, I can't go out to dinner. Oh no, I can't buy a shot the next time I'm at a bar. What are you talking about? Best case, your life has changed forever. Worst case, you're down $50. Is it really even a question?
Right. Fair enough. A great pitch. I mean, shows your sales expertise there. So, thank you for your time, Brice. It was great to speak to you. Some very insightful lessons learned for me myself. So I hope the audience found some useful information there as well. And I look forward to that follow up in future. So all the best to you until then.
Thank you. Can I add one more thing before we go?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so my goals for me personally, it's immortality. I want to live forever. And I feel like you live forever through the memories of everyone close to you, your friends, your brothers or sisters, your parents, one day your kids. That's how you live on even in death. People will tell the stories about you and who you are. And unless you are the best version of yourself, the most fit, the one with the most connections, the one with the most money, the best version of yourself, I don't think you're going to be able to achieve that. And I think for anyone who's looking to do that, to start on their path towards what is the closest thing we will ever get to immortality, I truly believe the real world is that.
Very interesting ending point there. Thank you, Brice.
All right, take care, man.